Hello and welcome to Brain Trust Live number 79.
This week on the podcast, a roundup of the inconsequential, un-newsy news of the week.
And the Republican strategy to defund Obamacare, now with more confusing twists.
Sadly, mass shootings surpassed Miley Cyrus twerking videos as America's hottest trend.
And the president and vice president of selfie-town get together to talk smack about weiners.
Plus, Republicans are certain that Jesus would starve the poor and hate the gays.
All this and more. This is Brain Trust Live. Hey guys, I'm Brent.
I'm Lila.
And you know what? We're on the web. We're on the internet.
Find us online.
Yes.
Our website is pretty easy to find because it's just www.braintrustlive.com.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, you should be able to find it.
Exactly. And we're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, where we post genius thoughts.
I was going to say, we're doing some heroic tumbling that you may or may not know about. And if you don't, then get into it.
You should get on board.
Yeah.
It's the right choice.
Yeah.
So the Emmys just finished. We're recording a little later than usual because we had to watch a 3-hour award show to learn that nothing really has changed. Jim Parsons is still the winner for Best Actor in a Comedy Series.
Still pissing me off that happens.
Well, I was saying to Brent during the show, I was like, if you can now say that it annoys you that he wins, plural, he's won too many times. Right. If you could have said that once, he would have won too many times.
It annoyed me Jim Parsons won last year.
Yeah.
That's a sort of like a statement that is sort of a reasonable statement because, like, you can be mad that he won once. You just become incensed that he's won 3 times.
It's just like a thing that now he's just the winner of that category in perpetuity forever and ever. Yeah. But there were some great bits done by our favorite cast of Veep.
Yes, Julia Louis-Dreyfus when she won, and thank God she won because that was awesome. But like she did a great bit with what's his name, who also won for supporting actor.
Is it Tony Hale?
Yeah, Tony Hale. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. And that was funny. And from Nurse Jackie. Like,
yes, Merritt Weaver got up and was like, I'm sorry, I have to go.
I have to go now. And then just wandered off stage. It was perfect.
It was the speech that you wish everyone would give.
Totally.
It's the perfect award show speech in general.
Yeah.
They could do trainings in that.
There were also some in memoriam sort of problems going on.
No, they weren't snafus.
They were intentional. They were perfectly planned.
They were just bad.
They were bad.
They basically decided to put an in memoriam sort of interlude after like every happy award that was won. Right. So someone would be happy.
With some sort of crying celebrity, talking about
they would wander off
dead
stage,
best friend,
and then it's like Edie Falco crying, go, or like Robin Williams crying, go. Like
and Robin Williams was the first one too, and it was so weird because he was like doing bits because it was like
because it was him as a comedic actor that he was memorializing, but because of it just sort of like was a downer because it kept coming back.
Right,
you'd be like, oh, okay, we've done the in memoriam thing now, and then another sad celebrity would appear on stage and they'd do a sweeping camera motion, and you'd be like, shit,
oh god, I know
this again.
And the guy who accepted the award for Modern Family said, he goes, well, this may be the saddest award show ever, but we're sure happy. Yeah. So I'm glad that somebody sort of like got around to referencing it by the end of the show because it was like, no,
like, don't be doing that. No.
And then there was like clapping all throughout the taped piece.
I was saying to Brent as the sort of in memoriam montage where all of the lesser celebrities get memorialized.
Yeah, exactly.
That usually at an award show they tell you not to clap so that you don't end up either looking like you're happy someone died
There's
or
so many
like
reasons to not clap.
Like you don't care about the people that you didn't clap for.
Yeah.
But apparently no one had warned this Emmys audience, who, by the way, frequent award shows. It's not like they didn't know.
It was not their first time at the rodeo.
It's a rule that everyone knows.
Yeah.
And so we start seeing some celebrities. We hear scattered clapping. Yeah. But then it starts to roll into like the PR people and like the producers.
Right, like somebody's publicist.
No one knows who those people are. No. So no one was clapping for those people.
And then you feel bad for those people.
Then, mysteriously, there were some people they couldn't get clear photos of.
Oh yeah, they had a lot of fuzzy
these
photos.
These people are all in entertainment. They all have a photograph somewhere.
Right.
Like, there's no reason you need like a fuzzy photograph of some guy that no one's heard of anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bonkers. Uh-huh. And it was 3 hours long. So all of that was happening.
Yeah. And the opening bit was weird. With Neil Patrick Harris binge watching every single season of T. And there was that was weird. There was a great dance number in the middle of it with all of the people who were nominated for Best Choreography.
They finally realized that the only chance they have of being entertaining at all is to either have Tina Fey do a bit or to have a dance number.
Yeah.
And if you're going to have Neil Patrick Harris host, like, don't not do a dance number.
Yeah, right?
That's crazy.
There was a weird sort of Carrie Underwood Beatles performance that somehow had something
to do with...
It was
memorializing, like, the 60s or something?
It was weird, like the 50th anniversary.
68
Don
or something?
Cheadle attempted to explain it to us in some way that I wasn't really following.
It was
because
just
it started
about the entire history of television.
It started with Kennedy dying, and then it was about the Beatles, and then there was like a whole... I mean, it just didn't...
And he never even mentioned... Like, behind Carrie Underwood, there were pictures of Bob Dylan and Martin Luther King. He never even mentioned those two in his history of the television.
Well, he did Martin Luther King.
He did do Martin. I missed Martin. I stopped listening.
Okay. I was going to say, well, it was weird because I was sort of like, is he just giving us that? I was waiting for like a 50-year, historical review of television.
In 1972,
I know.
Things turned around again.
I know.
That's a fair enough reason to have a 3-hour award show.
So that was weird. And she sort of struggled her way through that song, too.
That wasn't a great version of Yesterday.
No, it wasn't.
And, like, sorry, if the Beatles are able to sing it on key, like, Carrie Underwood, who is a superior vocalist, should have been able to get through it.
You know that she's in The Sound of Music that they're redoing. That's
I did not know that.
Or it's not going to be on MSNBC. It's going to just be on regular NBC over the holidays.
The liberal...
Yeah.
Liberal reworking of The Sound of Music.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
But yeah, so that just happened. I assume people will talk about it tomorrow. Nobody knows.
I guess.
I guess
there were some sort of surprises. I mean, I don't think people thought Jeff Daniels was going to win.
No, I don't.
And I was excited about that because everybody knows about my newsroom obsession, so I was super into that.
I don't think anyone thought Merritt Weaver was going to win.
Well, least of all her.
Speech. Yeah. She set a standard, though, that other people didn't live up to.
Yeah, she did.
But, yeah, I feel like I watch these award shows, and then I sort of later am like, did I care about that? I can't tell. And I maybe didn't.
You don't always.
No, it's hard. Especially the Emmys. I feel like everyone has an Emmy. Like, haven't you ever, like, gone to someone's house in L.A. and been like, oh, you have an Emmy too? Like, everyone has a fucking Emmy.
They kept saying it. They would be like, Breaking Bad, this is their second victory tonight, and nominated for 46 earlier in the week. It's sort of like, wait, what now?
46 Emmys?
Wait, what?
Yeah. Like, people are winning those left, right, and center for all sorts of crazy things.
Yeah.
It's not a high standard that you have to reach to get an Emmy, apparently. In any case, the other big news of the week in fake news was that a new iPhone got released. And mysteriously, that was significantly more important to various headline writers than really anything else that happened.
Yes, exactly.
Some things did happen this week, but none of them were the iPhone.
Because it wasn't even sort of like one of those like iPhone game changers. Like I sort of like the 5 came out and it was sort of like, all right, well this is. But that was even sort of like there was a sort of I felt like there was like and I realized this is only the 5S, so like it's not the 6. But I feel like between like even the 4S and the 5, like there were sort of like enough sort of like game changing things that were going on. It's like this basically just like runs a little bit faster and then has a fucking fingerprint thing on it. Like,
and the fingerprint thing creeps me out a little bit.
A little bit.
I'm not trying to have my fingerprints known to Apple and any other...
And
the world.
Yes, anyone else by way of Apple.
Exactly.
Basically.
Because hackers have already figured out how to get through it. There was a contest earlier in the week. It's already been won. So that's over now. If you thought fingerprints were security, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, people were waiting online. There were a lot of slideshows in the news of people doing victory dances outside of various Apple stores.
Yes.
I love, who are these people that wait online for days every time this happens? The guy who got the first one in New York at the Midtown Apple store, he'd been online for like 14 days.
Wow.
Like 14
days? Does he have a job? They're expensive.
Right? Like where did he get the money to buy the iPhone? Yeah. And like, is it worth a 14-day... Like, is it worth $200 and a 14-day wait?
No.
It's not.
No.
We have the answer for you right here.
Yeah.
It's not.
They also released the 5C.
Right. Those are colorful, but they're just iPhone 5s.
And they're plastic.
They're plastic. Well, I broke my phone last week, and I was almost like, maybe I should just get the 5C because it's the same phone and it will come in a color. But then I was like, I don't really want a plastic phone for the same price that I can just get my phone fixed. Like,
that's true.
Once I have my phone that's made of real materials, like, I don't necessarily want to downgrade to plastic just for the cool color. I like having a phone that's a cool color.
Here's what I think is curious about that, is that, yes, I in theory, like having a phone that is a cool color, too. And so part of me is sort of like, well, I don't even really mind if my phone is plastic because I'm just going to put a case on it anyway. And then I was like, but if I'm just going to put a case on it anyway...
Do I need it to be a color?
It just could be whatever damn color I want. Yeah. All these people who are like obsessing about like wanting the gold iPhones and then immediately go put some case with some dumb floral design over it. It's just sort of like, that could be a fuchsia iPhone. I mean, it doesn't
could be any color.
It could be any color.
It could be clear. I would pay for a clear iPhone.
Yeah, you'd
that would
like
be
that.
exciting.
You've been putting clear cases on your iPhones all over the place.
I know. I've been trying a lot of different cases in the wake of my iPhone accident that I had.
And I also went through a lot of at least early stress and have gotten over it and now sort of fallen in love with it. But the new operating system is also on this new phone,
the new operating system.
So we all had to.
We all have that now.
Upgrade to that.
It's very bright.
I really love it.
That's my first reaction was just that I might be blinded by it and not be able to know if it's better or not because I wouldn't be able to see anymore.
Right.
Earlier this week, I told Brent it was going to put me into the blind house.
Oh, yes.
That's a poor house for blind people, in case you're curious. And that's where I'm going to be because of the new operating system on the iPhone.
I forgot you said that.
But in any case, also, maybe you didn't know this, but we're trying to shut down the government now.
Oh, yes.
Again.
Well, we're not trying to. I was reminded on Meet the Press this morning by Bill Kristol.
Right,
he was
trying to not.
The Republicans are the only ones who've come up with a plan to fund the government.
Yes.
Like, that's the story that they're peddling. Like.